look what we have here.
All right, I'm here with Peter Jae, and we're here to talk about The Workout, and it's coming out on the 28th on Amazon and other streaming services. And Peter, it's an honor to be talking with you today about the film because, as we just talked about, I absolutely loved the film. I enjoyed it. It's a good popcorn action flick, and
Oh yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. Yeah, we kind of make like wanted to make like an old-fashioned, throwback to action films. Not, these days you're watching something, you're like, it's so many twists going on, and you're present, and that's great and everything. But some people just miss that old-fashioned like revenge movie. And
exactly. Yeah. So before we get into the film, I would love to know because you did pretty well at the fight scenes. What's your background? Like, I know you're also a stunt performer, but do you have like a
um,
martial arts background?
No, I don't really have like a martial arts background, but I always wanted to. I grew up kind of I don't want to sound like this, but I kind of grew up poor. I couldn't afford the taekwondo classes and all that stuff like most kids did. But I loved kung fu films, so I mimic everything and just watch as much TV I could. And we didn't have YouTube back then, have tutorials, but
Yeah, we
when
had we
you're a kid, you
had
find your ways, right? You
we
find your
had we had the old school TV shows like the ones that appear after Saturday morning cartoons, like
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, you're
drive-in
from that
movies.
generation. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. After the cartoons, you watch, well, I don't know what channel it was for you, but the kung fu films come on, or it's like black exploitation films. It's
Yeah.
like it's all ethnic, TV shows or movies
If
from
I
back
remember right,
then.
ours was Channel 5 and it was a show called Drive-In Movie.
Yes,
And like
yeah, I was in
after
New
nine.
York, so yeah, Channel
Oh,
5.
so you're from New York too.
Yeah, I'm born and
That's
raised in New York. I was in Brooklyn at
small
the time.
world. Westchester over
Yeah.
here.
All
So
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then I moved to the Bronx, so I was closer to you in Westchester.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I'm in Florida now, but yeah, I've been there for like
Okay.
I
Sorry to hear that. No, I'm just kidding.
but I am going back up in I think next spring I'm going back up for a vacation. So because my brothers are still
Oh,
up there,
nice.
so I'm gonna go see them. So it's gonna be pretty
Yeah.
cool. But
Yeah. No,
yeah,
so yeah, I always like stayed active. I work out, I train and work out, do kickboxing, on BJJ. But I've always done stunts, but I don't like to say I'm a stunt performer because I don't, out of respect, because I have a lot
yeah,
of friends that are stunt performers and I don't compare to what they do. These guys train and put their bodies through so much crazy stuff. And not only that, they're like fearless. And I'm a little chicken shit, like I get like scared of heights. I'm like, I look tough on the outside, but I'm like, oh, we're gonna jump off of here to there, like but these guys don't even think, no,
no,
no thinking. They just know how they have that focus. And so I never want to disrespect them. So I always say like I'm an actor that does stunts and I
yeah,
can do fight stuff, but I don't do like half the stuff that these like not
oh
even
yeah,
half. Like yeah, most of the stuff these guys do, I don't do. So out of respect, you know, big
yeah.
up all my stunt performers, that do all the action movies to make it look amazing. So they don't get enough
Exactly.
credit. So
So let's get to the workout because I've known James Cullen Bressack for like a couple of years. Like I've known him for a while, and heard that he did this movie. What was it like working with him on this? Because
oh,
he's
James is
amazing.
awesome. This is the second project that me and James actually worked on. The first one was Darkness of Man with Jean-Claude Van Damme,
That's
and
right.
it's
That's where I
awesome.
recognize you from. I saw
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was
I
like,
played
wait
the
a minute.
main
Like,
bad guy, Daehyun. Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I love James, man. Like, to be honest, how do I explain this? I've been acting for over 20 years now. So, and when I started, I was still back in the days of the racist stuff, the racist stereotypes. And the
Stereotypes.
only roles that were out there were like either you were like a kung fu martial arts expert that could kick everybody's ass, but like doesn't have the social skills to speak like two lines, or you were like the Asian immigrant. And I didn't really fit into either one of those,
Yeah.
So I just kind of settled for all the crappy roles. So even when with the Van Damme movie. That's more fitting because he wanted a bad guy like Korean descent, so it's kind of fitting, right? So
Yeah.
he saw my reel and he reached out to me like within 5 minutes after I sent him my reel. And he was just like, dude, I want to offer you the role of the main bad guy. And I'm like, there's not even an audition. But James has this thing, like he's worked on so many films. He has that innate gift of like being able to see something in people, even if you don't even see it. Like I believed in myself, but after all the years of rejection and getting beat up, we're all human. We start getting this insecurity and start doubting ourselves and get realistic, like, well, maybe this won't happen. So maybe I'll get to play this or that. But I got to play in Darkness of Man opposite Jean-Claude Van Damme, and that was a very challenging film.
Yeah.
But for this one, honestly, it came out of nowhere. It was during the strikes, And of course, James is not the type to sit around and just complain, you know. So he's
Oh
like, you know
no.
what, we're gonna do a movie,
In
you
my
know.
opinion, he saved the film
Oh yeah,
industry when COVID hit because he just kept churning all these movies out during the pandemic. I'm like,
right.
this dude was like the savior of the film industry.
No, he took
I don't care
lemon
what
and
anyone says.
yeah,
Anyone can
made
battle me
lemonade.
on
Definitely made lemonade. He made jars and jars of lemonades, you know, like
that.
and that's his personality. And I love that because he comes from a new generation that's more open-minded. And so when he reached out to me about the workout during the strikes, honestly, he gave me a call randomly and I thought he was giving me an update about the Van Damme movie because it didn't come out yet.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm doing a new movie. He saw my post on Instagram on my birthday. I'm gonna do. I'm like, cool, good for you. What's up with the other movie? And he's like, well, let's go back to this. And he's like, I want you to star in this. And I was just like kind of taken back. I was like, wait, what? So me being from 20 years ago, I'm like, oh, you're doing an Asian movie? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, am I adopted? Why am I the lead? And he's like, because I think you're dope and I think you're talented. And I'm going with my gut. And I think that I want to go with it. Uh, do you have you lead the film? And I was so honored. So I took that opportunity and responsibility like to the heights, like, you know, and I'm so grateful to James for allowing me to trust me, you know, to play that position. So you know, James is dope. He's great. He's one of my good friends now. Like we're boys. Like
And you got to work with Josh Kelly on this. And I remember Josh actually has a military background. So did you
yes.
go to him for advice on like how to play this role? Or because you're an ex-military soldier in this movie, did he help you out in any way
Oh,
with the
absolutely,
military?
1000%. But Josh, you know, the thing about Josh, and I wish he was here. I think he's busy working on something right now. But
Yeah.
Josh, he's awesome. Like when we first met, he was kind of sizing me up because he was kind of like, you know, we're just kind of walking to the set. And he's like, "Are you Peter Jae?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you Josh Kelly?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like looking at me up and down because he's like, "Who is this guy that's leading, you know, this film or whatever?" And he didn't know me from anything. I'm a nobody, you know. So, but Josh is not that typical kind of army ranger, ex-army ranger.
Yeah.
He's such a goofball. He's a clown. He's so cool. Like he's so down to earth, and he does. You know, there's a lot of I have a lot of military friends and family, and they're like they're you know they're a certain
Stern,
way, you know.
stern and
Yeah, yeah,
strict. Yeah.
and I'm not taking anything away from them. What they've experienced and what they've done and what they're trained to do is like, you know, I don't joke around with that.
Yeah.
But Josh is kind of like he's just a different kind of guy. Like when I talk to him about the, you know, service, he's like, yeah, I did 4 tours. He just talks about it nonchalantly, and you know, who knows what's going on in here, but like he does not show it. And it was great having him there because yeah, I do a lot of fight stuff, you know, but you know, military training is military training, and you want to get it right, especially for the like people that are actually from that have a military background or
Yeah.
like law enforcement. Like when you see cops or like military people in movies and stuff, they're always looking at the way they're holding a gun or their mannerisms or the way they move, the things they say. They know. They can just smell it. They know.
Mhm.
Game recognized game, and that and it's like that. So Josh was like he gave us me and Ashlee, who plays Tank, a lot of insight and tips and a lot of stuff like and it's weird because as much experience Josh has, he didn't have a lot of experience with like action movies and films, which
Right.
I do have more of that. So he'd be like, "Yo, how do you throw this punch?" And da-da. So we kind of helped each other out in our own way, and it was great. Like, and Josh is cool enough that he's gonna be honest. He'd be like, "Dude, I punched like this, but how did you? That look cool. Like, how do you do that?" Like, you know, he's like, he's not full of himself. Like, he's
Yeah.
so down to earth and laid back that you can ask him anything. And honestly, through the film, we became like real brothers. Like there's some of those scenes we're just like we just tapped into it. It was just like, you know, when you know, synergy clicks, it clicks.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. And
and
that's what
so
makes the
yeah,
film work because you got
absolutely.
that dynamic. And what really surprised me was the cinematography on this film because you got like all these various points of view, like the camera angles. You see like the like the so-called first person point of view, hardcore Henry like. You got the security cameras at one point. I'm like, this is something you don't rarely see in these type of movies. And that just blew me away. Like that you guys got to work with the camera angles in
Oh
terms of.
yeah, yeah, yeah. People don't realize this, but like a lot of the shots, me and Josh are wearing GoPros. Most of it, we're just wearing GoPros and we're playing cameraman for each other. So like a lot of times when the shot is on him, I'm playing cameraman, I'm angling everything like from my perspective, and he's doing the same. So people are like, oh, that's so challenging. But I mean, it was challenging at first, but honestly, when you're so immersed in the character and the story, like you're just getting it right. And you know, as an actor, you know how to make someone look good. You're like, oh, you know, you like, you know. And honestly, when James and David and Jared they came up to me and told me about their idea, I was skeptical, just like anybody. I'm like, we're making Blair Witch, but with action, you know. But they made it work. Like honestly, I was the last one to see the final cut because I was kind of nervous. But everyone told me good things. But I hear good things, and I'm my own worst critic. I'm like judge myself to death. But I, I saw it, and they made it work, man. With editing, with the angling, and with Brian Cross and Pascal behind the lens, and when they were shooting, like they had a vision and they stuck to it. So kudos to them. Like they made it look cool.
Yeah, and I also like got the fact one of my favorite fight scenes is you and Josh in the mansion, and that's like that long fight scene. I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. Like I missed this. I don't get to see, you like you mentioned, it was
That was
throwback, and
fun.
you don't get to see stuff like that anymore. It's just like
That was
everything's
so much fun.
too quick and too edited. But I like that you see Josh like going up the stairs and just like throwing down and everything. And you're right. You tell that he's like he knows now. He learned how to do the film fighting. He made that look smooth, and
Oh yeah,
Ashley
absolutely.
did too
Oh,
with her fight scene against the thug that breaks into your apartment. I mean, of course, she's
oh
a
yeah, 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 yeah.
she's an
That
MMA
was her
fighter,
little.
so
Yeah.
she's got the experience. But that was just mind blowing. Those fights were crazy.
No, it's funny because that's when like our first fight scene, and then that's when we started clicking and meshing, and we're like, you know what? And Josh he was like, it's like Double Dragon. It's like we're like Double Dragon, and I'm like, yeah, we're from the same era, right? So we're like, yeah, Double Dragon, and it's like because it's like we're going through level one, the main floor. We go up the steps to level two,
Yeah,
and find the big boss up there, and we played it like that. And we're even doing like choreography, doing certain things like we're like fighting together, like he's leaning on my back, and I punch his guy, he's kicking my guy,
yeah.
and so much fun.
It's like Double Dragon, Rush Era, Game of Death, like a whole like
Yeah,
entire
exactly.
combination of the three. So
The
for
throwback, the
sure.
throwback. For film fans, it's a throwback. It's a trip.
So you definitely got to work with one of the best in the industry when it comes to fight choreography, Luke Lafontaine. This guy is legend in my book because I've seen him in like Extreme Heist, and then he's worked in all these other films. What was it like? Did you get to do like some of did you have like input in some of what he brought to the table? Like, can we do this instead? Can we try this? Or did he just like you just put your complete trust in him?
Well,
Big time.
Luke is honestly like I've worked with this is my second time working with Luke as well because we worked
Right.
on the Van Damme movie together,
Yeah.
Darkness of Man, and we became good friends and I knew his style, he knew my style, he already knew what I was about. So when we kind of prepped for it with Ashley and Josh, who are more because Ashley's badass, we don't have to mention that. Like she's
Yeah.
UFC, she knows everything, but she needed to like learn how to do fight choreography, which is different. Pulling back
Right.
your punches, it's the opposite. But she picks it up real quick. And Josh, again, military background, badass, physically capable, do all of it. But he had to learn certain of
Yeah.
pulling, stacking and stuff like that. And I do a lot of stunts, and I was more familiar with it. But to be honest with you, once we got that in, Luke was able to tap into what our talents were. Like Josh does a lot of kicks 'cause he did taekwondo when he was a kid, so he added more kicks. I'm like more of like a raw, like unpolished, like boom, 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 bruiser, brawler kind. And Ashley's more skilled. That's why we have that scene where she's doing all the MMA, BJJ, and stuff like cool stuff. That was her showcase.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'll be real with you. This is an indie film. We had no money. We literally showed up and we had no time for rehearsals. But Luke is a what's great about Luke is he's a storyteller even in his fight choreography.
Yeah.
So do that. He kind of kept it simple. He knew that we didn't have enough time. We didn't have the luxury to do all this rehearsals. And the story is about how raw and gritty it is. So it's not supposed to be polished. We're not doing John Wick. We're not doing all these cool, amazing, like precise, fight choreography. We're being raw, emotional to the gut. It's revenge, 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 revenge. I'm killing you. I'm killing you. I'm there to kill you. Like I don't care how pretty this is. Like
Oh,
there's a scene in when I'm walking around with a wrench and I'm just like clobbering people, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. Like you know what I mean? It doesn't have to look pretty. I'm just here to hurt you. Like you can, so and that's what we did. And Luke, which he was just the biggest cheerleader. Because, like I said, he'd come in, he'd say certain things, but he knew exactly. He knows how to work with everyone's personality. He knows if you need more, he'll give you more. But he knows about boom, I would just tweak this a little bit and boom. And he just sits back and he's like, boom, you guys are killing it, man. Like, and he's always reminding us, dude, other films that I work on, we have rehearsals back to back to back to back. You guys are literally coming in here and freestyling everything and you're killing it. So he was in that way, like he just knew how to lead
That's
everything
that's
with
so
all.
much fun when you hear the story, those type of stories, like because you mostly hear most of the time that everything's done on rehearsal or everything gets done beforehand, but to practically get all this done on the fly is just mind blowing, and
Absolutely.
and it just reminds me of another movie that came out a few years back. I think it was called Army of One with Ellen Hallman from the last Matrix movie, and
Yeah,
she
yeah,
was telling
okay.
me that her husband they had to do a one fight scene. It was a one take fight scene, and they did it for like they only had like an hour to rehearse everything, and then they
Oh
just
man.
bam, they just shot it like, and then boom, done. And,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
No, I mean,
that fight came out amazingly well too. So I was like, just
I
hearing
mean,
those
emotions
type of
are in it.
stories.
It'll come out. Yeah. And Luke had with all his experience, he has stories for days. So like when you're on set, he's just sharing stories of all of his experiences, and he's mentioning this person, this actor, this, just like you mentioned, he'll just mention all these things, and you're like, and then he's like, you're right there with them, da, 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 and you're like, yeah. So Luke has just he's an encyclopedia of history and experience from the stunt world, action movies and stuff. Like, I mean, he was even in Hook. I didn't even
Yeah,
know that. He was in
I
Hook.
didn't,
So I was like, what?
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I gotta put the elephant in the room here. James is actually in the movie, but
Ah,
no,
yeah.
he's in the movie, but
He's
you
in
don't
it,
get
but you
to
can't
really
tell
see
us.
him. He comes out pixelated as Glitch. Was that his idea to just like be like?
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely. He's like, hey, I'm gonna be in it, but I'm not gonna be in it. Like, what? And he's like, and then we see it like, oh, all right.
Yes, we were watching that because I watched it with my mom because I was like, my mom's a big action fan. She's the one who got
Oh,
like
wow.
she's one of the reasons she and my dad got me into action films back in the 80s and all that stuff. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
she
yeah.
was hyping up CS, and she said that he looked like a Minecraft character. And when she saw him, she's like, he looks like Minecraft. He's like, he could be a Minecraft character, the way he was pixelated. I go,
Yeah,
oh,
I
I gotta
mean,
remember that. I
can't
was
tell
like,
for sure.
that was, so were you on the set like the entire time? Like, because since you were the lead, were you on the set like every day? If so, how many days was the
Oh
shoot?
yeah, every day. Yeah, every day. We shot in a span of like a month and a half. I think about 16 days, maybe 15 days total. We just cranked it out, honestly. It was just so much fun. And with James, we shoot like the way we shoot. Like honestly, like I don't it's never like the way the actor wants it. It's just the way it is, and you just have to deal with it. Like for instance, my first day on Darkness of Man was my last day in the whole movie, like the final
Yeah.
fight scene, and I hadn't even met Van Damme or nothing. There was no chemistry that we built up or anything. It was just like show up, and it's the last scene. I had this long monologue and everything, no prep, no warming up until he just throws you into the fire. And just like that with the workout, same thing. And to be honest with you, to get real deep, the first day that we shot was a very, it's an action movie, but there's a lot of drama in there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
motion there. And the
Especially with your
first
character because of what happens to you. It's like, you got the pretty much the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you got the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a
brain.
lot that I was dealing with, and that was for me, it was like a dream come true. Like the more layers, James is apologizing, sorry, you're gonna be doing something. No way, I love this. I love these complex. I never get to play these kind of roles. Like, I dream for these kind of roles, So that first day was like the scenes where I'm talking, like, the scenes that what I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but like those scenes, and I knew for me, if I didn't bring it or if I didn't really like commit to it, then this would just be a film that we're doing just to stay active during the strikes.
Yeah.
Like just we're just showing up and we're gonna casually, oh yeah, we're doing something. We're being active, being creative, and we're doing something. But I knew that at least I did do my part. And so when that showed up, like we're kind of looking at each other, and everyone was like, dude, man, you killed it. And there was like a vibe that happened where like we're making a movie. Like people are committed to this. Like, so that energy spread. Because even for me, I wasn't sure how serious everyone was taking it. I didn't even know James was taking it that serious because I thought we were just trying to be creative and trying to keep our spirits high during the strikes, stay
Yeah,
active,
and
stay
and then
working.
even the actors who were just had these small roles, they still they brought their A game.
Absolute,
Like Christos
absolute.
Andrews, Galadriel Steinman as your wife, and Maurice LaMarche, as one of the mob bosses. Like their roles were small, but they make the most impact as well because they bring that chemistry and they bring that because they've worked with James before, so
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
they know how he operates and they know he's gonna bring the best out in them as they're gonna bring out the best for him. So that's what made it work too.
Absolutely.
Even though their small roles were smaller, they
No,
brought
no,
that.
they brought it. Yeah, they brought it. They're memorable like the whole time. Like each character, and it kind of like we were saying, Double Dragon. Each boss was like each level, different characters. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, I hope people get to see this when it comes out on the 28th. And
I'm excited. We actually have our first premiere tonight, the LA
oh,
premiere at Alamo Drafthouse tonight in theaters. And we honestly we had three screenings and we sold all of them out. They just kept on opening up and we sold the first one out in 48 hours and after that 24 hours and the next one 24 hours. So I'm kind of excited to see how people receive it, like fans and or just
Yeah.
people that just want to see a good old action film, you know?
Exactly, like a good old school action throwback, and you know, with a very complex lead because of course everything going on. But I like that because it's not like the '80s tough guy like it used to be, like the old school Van Damme or the Lundgrens. I'm
Yeah,
liking that these lead characters in these films now are more human,
right, right,
and
right.
that's what made it work as well because you're playing a more human character compared to the old school action heroes where they're practically invincible, you know.
Right. Yeah, and then that's funny that you mentioned that because I remember thinking like, oh well, I wonder how an Army Ranger would react to this or deal with this. You know, am I gonna be like, oh, I'm Army Ranger, da, da, da. But I'm like, no, man, this is your wife and your daughter. You're human. Like, I don't care how badass you are. I don't care how many people you've killed. You have a heart still, and you're gonna feel things. So I had to put it out there and make it my own and you know not worry about so much about like oh you know because the whole time you want to honor you know people that are like ex you know veterans you know,
Yeah.
that served and you want to do it to the utmost. But, you know, you find your way and I'd always look at Josh as my reference point. I'm like, Josh, and he'd be like, you're killing it, bro. Like he brother. And we're like calling each other brother the whole time, becoming brothers like while we're shooting. And he's like, dude, and not only that, you know, like I said, Josh didn't know who I was. So the first thing he said to me when we are saying, because I should mention this. James is awesome because he knew that we were going to play brothers-in-law and he knew that we didn't know each other. So he's like, you know what? I want you guys to hang out. The tab's on me. You could go to a bar, get some drinks, and I just want to kick it. And it was funny because me and Josh were both going through a sobriety month. So we're
Oh.
both drinking, you know, non-alcoholic beers and acting drunk and feeling loose and like, yeah. And we just kept on bonding and bonding and and man, what a great I would love to like just work with Josh all the time and Ashley. Like those three are like my, you know, film fam.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, that totally reminded me of a movie I saw from like during the pandemic. And this was a South African horror, like a horror comedy. These nine people never worked with each other before, but one of them came and was like, "Yo, why don't we hang out? Because we're shooting at night. Why don't we hang out during the day, get to know each other?" And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
from one of the actors who told me, because they're like, "We're still friends to this day. 5 years later, we're still texting each other. But we had never worked with each other. We never even met or anything really, and we just got together during when we weren't shooting, and we just became like all nine of us became the best of friends. I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
See,
So to hear that is amazing.
that's the beauty of filmmaking. Like, because each movie or each show that you work, each project that you work on, you just build this bond because you're in the story together and you just, there's this chemistry that happens and you'll never forget. It's like a chapter in your life that you always like, you know, like that you'll
Yeah.
never, yes, bonded forever.
So what's next for you after the workout? Is there anything that you can talk about? Like any
I'm
milestone?
working on a pretty big video game right now. I can't mention what it is, all these NDAs, but I also have a script that I wrote, that I've been trying to get produced. It's not an action film, it's more of like a drama, coming of age story. I grew up, like we were just mentioning, I grew up in Brooklyn in the Bronx and in a different time where like you know it wasn't so Asian friendly and growing up a minority amongst minorities there's a story I feel like right now there's a lot of Asian content and it's great because there's like K-dramas and K-pop demon hunters and all cute and everything but for my generation we never got to tell our story like all the BS that we
Yeah,
had the racism the bullying all the you know because you know I don't know. Like when people think of Asians, they only think of Asians in China and Korea and Japan, but they never think about the homebred, homegrown Asian Americans and what
exactly.
the story's about. And we never get to tell it. And all of these stories are about like all cool rom-coms and stuff like that. But and that's great and everything. And there's crazy rich Asians, but I need to tell crazy broke Asians. You know, I need to tell the real stories. I need to tell the anti-model minority stories. So
There you
people
go.
humanize us and see us for who we are. All our flaws, all our imperfections, you know, all our screw ups, all our addictions, all our habits, all of that. You know, we're human too, and we need to tell these stories. So,
Oh, I totally agree. If that becomes a movie, I would definitely check that one out because
oh, yeah.
that would be
Don't
awesome.
worry, it's brewing, it's brewing.
So as Peter said, the premiere of the workout is tonight at the Alamo Draft House. It will be hitting
Awesome.
Amazon on the 28th. And man, Peter, you just rocked in this movie, and I cannot wait to
Thank
see
you
more
so
of what's
much.
next for you, man.
I mean that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, well, as always, take care and everyone stay awesome.
The workout.